Hamakavi Barzel presents Rabbi Nachum Shifren, Torah scholar, author, public speaker, and good friend of the late Rabbi Kahane.
Shalom to all of our listeners, all of our viewers, all of our friends. It's been a very eventful week. Hanukkah is behind us now. However, the light and the thought of Jewish freedom and Jewish liberty and our way of life that light will always be kindled in us. And of course, foremost in our thoughts. We would be remiss as JDL members if we didn't mention what happened in Australia. Bondi Beach, I'm sure everybody knows about it. It's funny, I was there about 20 years ago. I was invited by the Chabad rabbi to talk about a few things. I was invited there and talking about how fitness and health ties into spirituality and whatnot, which I like to talk about. That's another topic, perhaps for another podcast. Anyway, I am familiar with Bondi. Went there and we had a surfing event with the local Jewish kids. Very successful, lots of fun. We read several parshas ago about how, I think it was in Parshas Yeshev, I believe it was, when Jacob entered the land with all of his sons, having left Lavan and all that balagan behind him. And they entered the land. The first place they went to, as it says in the parsha, was in Shem. Shem, or otherwise known in the secular world and in the non-Jewish world as Nablus. That's the Arabs' once more the Arabs' attempt to de-Judaize any aspect of our connection with our Holy Land. So Shem, there was the situation where Dinah was the youngest daughter of Yaakov. Now, Dinah was a very beautiful young lady. She liked to stroll about, unusual. Her mother liked to stroll about, and she was strolling about. Dinah was Leah's daughter, okay? And what happened there was the king of Shechem, Hamor. Hamor, of course, means donkey, so you can figure that out by yourself. His son took a liking to Dinah and basically raped her, and did all kinds of stuff to her, and had a great time with her. When the brothers found out about that, needless to say, they were stressed, and they said after killing all the male residents of Shechem, because no one, of course, according to the laws, the Noahide laws, which were established throughout the whole world after Noah exited the ark. There was such a thing as Noahide laws. I'm sure many of you know about them. 7 of them in total. You're not allowed to murder. You're not allowed to covet your friend's wife, etc. Can't eat the limb of a living animal. Can't steal. You can't do all those things. When they saw that, and you're supposed to, of course, one of the things is you're supposed to establish courts of justice. When the brothers saw that nobody in Shechem was going to take to task Hamor and his son for what they did to Dinah, it was basically, that's a death sentence. That's the halacha. Sounds a little bit stringent, but that's the way it works. When you do something like that to a young girl like that, and there's no consequences, then you basically flaunted your reason for being on this earth at that point. Things were pretty serious back then. There was consequences for things, not so much like it is today. They killed everybody. I didn't say murder. I said killed. That is the sentence for people that flaunt that the idea of not having justice established among you. So when Jacob said to them, interestingly enough, there's a preface why I'm prefacing this for what happening on Bondi to give a little context. Some of you can probably see where I'm going. When Jacob said, what did you guys do? You gave up you blew my cover here. we just entered the land. The entire 7 nations of Canaan are going to now rise up against me because they're going to think that now we're trying to take over the land, and blah, blah, blah. And the response from Levi and Shimon, the people that perpetrated this act, was, do you expect us to watch our one of our daughters become a whore among these people? So my thoughts on Bondi pretty much went back to that. After 2,000 years of being the scapegoats and the fall guys for every tyrannical leader in the world, for all the Nazis near and far, pogroms, the Crusades, this, that, the other, whatever you want to say, you would think that at this point Jewish lives would be worthwhile, worth protecting. There is a plague in Australia of radical Muslims. They're not just the guys that bow to Mecca 5 days a week. They are marching around with swords and knives, kill the infidel, kill the this and that. Now, the infidel usually means Gentiles. It also means us. Nobody seems to take them seriously down there. When I heard that there was this massive gathering on Bondi Beach and no security, I nearly fell off my chair. This is kind of like walking across the Maginot Line, taking off your gun and your vest and everything else and just walking around. It's a license to steal here. And that truly was what happened. Now, I want to say one other thing relating to that. Here in the United States, where I daven, there was one individual, community leader, who said something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Regarding Bondi, it was said that when they kill us, we light another candle. Let me explain how it works. When they kill us, we kill 10 of them. We don't light a candle. The life of a Jew isn't worth a little bit of candle with wax and a wick. I didn't want to get into a polemic with the person that initiated these ideas, but it did make me sick to my stomach. Now, this person is a Orthodox, a authentic Orthodox Jew, and does everything an Orthodox Jew would do, except this is the main difference. We who went to the yeshiva of Rabbi Kahane, we learned in the yeshiva for the Jewish idea, Yeshivat HaRayon HaYehudi, we learned something that we take with us to our graves, and we'll never be able to be disconnected from it. Jewish weakness is a chilul Hashem. Whenever we're weak, whenever we're thought about as weak, whenever people could take advantage of us, we look at we don't look at it upon us. We didn't light up enough candles. We look at what did we do? What did we do wrong? What can we do next time? This is all aside from the fact that we need to be connected to Hashem. Everybody knows that. There's no question about that. But in order to be respected, we have to have self-respect. This is one thing the rabbi taught over and over. I sat in a prison in the place called Migrash HaRusi in Jerusalem. Migrash HaRusi actually means the Russian compound. There's no Russians there, it's all Arabs. And it's turned into actually a big prison there. Me and Rabbi Kahane's son, Hashem Yikov Damo Binyamin Kahane, who, by the way, his yard site is today. We need to mention that. He and Talia Kahane, his dear wife, were butchered by murderous Arabs in the Shomron. And one of the reasons why Binyamin was jailed, I was jailed just simply because I was hanging out with him. One of the reasons why Binyamin was jailed is he said in one of his many fiery speeches, the Israeli Air Force traveled 5,000 miles to bomb reactors in Baghdad. The real problem is al-Faham. al-Faham, you may know, is on the road in the Galilee, on the road to Tzfat. It's a large Arab village filled with seedy characters, murderers, rapists, what have you. Binyamin said instead of traveling 5,000 miles away, they should have just bombed the village of el Fahim. Well, they arrested him because of that. It goes to show you how much the First Amendment is applied in Israel. It isn't. You can be arrested on anything. When I asked the person that arrested me in the prison, I asked, why did you arrest me? He goes, because we feel like it. Interesting tales from the land of the Jewish people. This incident in Bondi, just to sum up here, is an example of that mentality, that exile mentality, that we are in an exile. We have to behave according to the lands of the country we live in. We abide by the law. We raise Jewish kids. We send them to Jewish schools. We do everything that we're supposed to. Tell you something else. When I was in 770 at Crown Heights, the home of the Lubavitcher movement, 770 Eastern Parkway rather. It was during Sukkot, thousands and thousands of Jews going up, in and out of the building. All of a sudden, I saw a Muslim put his carpet right on the sidewalk, right in front of where thousands of Jews are walking by. And he starts praying toward Mecca. I don't know how he knew which direction Mecca is. And I said to a friend, this is a learning moment for us, a teachable moment. This guy has no fear of Jews. He's one guy in a sea of Jews bowing down. I have to tell you, I said to him, halavai, if we should be like him, fearless, in their face, that sort of thing. Those are my thoughts on the Bondi situation. A massive Jewish Hanukkah candle lighting and no security. And then the tikkun of all that, the thing that would be important will be for every Jew that's killed, we light a candle. This is what was told to us by this individual. I totally reject that. It's an absolute. It's like a chilul Hashem. It's a desecration of Hashem's name. Those are my thoughts. If you agree with me, please contact the JDL. Let me hear your comments. We are entering a brand new area now. Just to comment quickly on our latest parsha, MIKETZ. And now we have VAYIGASH as well. All these parshas take place during the festival of Hanukkah. Very interesting situation with Joseph and his brothers. You can't remain untouched by this incredible meeting of Joseph and his brothers, who they originally tried to kill. And Joseph is the second to Pharaoh in the land of Israel. He has tremendous power, in the land of Egypt, excuse me. And when he meets them, they all had a fear that he would take revenge upon them for them trying to. They were jealous of him, of course, which we learned in an earlier parsha. There was jealousy among the brothers, and they couldn't deal with Joseph being so close to their father. Joseph was his father's apple in his eye, actually. Which Torah says, you got to be very careful when you raise children. You don't want to have the children, going to war one against another because you favor one of the kids over the others. You have to be careful of that. Torah mentions that. But this amazing meeting, Joseph explains to them, no, you thought you were trying to kill me. I was sold to various people. I was imprisoned. I was enslaved. And it was all for the purpose of me being here, so that when there would be a famine in the land of Canaan, you would come to me and I would take care of your needs. And I would be a source of comfort for you during this tremendous period of famine. And we learn an amazing lesson from this. If Joseph could forgive his brothers for attempting to kill him, selling him off to Ishmaelites, and then Midianites, and he was in prison, in a horrific prison, and all the things that he had, the trials and tribulations. If he could forgive his brothers, So we have to look at ourselves and think of Joseph every time we take umbrage against somebody for something they said or they did. It's all of no consequence. When you really think about what Joseph did, it gives us strength in our own emotional daily lives of living with other people who we don't necessarily like so much. They may not like us, but we realize that in the end, we came from the dust, we shall return to the dust. That should be our attitude always in relating to other people. And of course, giving thanks to God for everything and the abundance that each of us have. On those good words, our next parsha, VAYIGASH, continuing the saga of the Jewish people in Egypt. And let us hope that we'll have a better Shabbos than even the last one until they become better and better, until Mashiach Tikenu, Yavov Yigalenu, Bizman Akarov. Amen. All the best to everybody. God bless you. And as always, please try to support the JDL. Whatever you can do, it's well appreciated. God bless you, and Shavua Tov.
After Auschwitz is going to carry signs reading gas Jews anywhere, not in Marquette Park, not in Skokie, they're not anywhere.